Farmers Insurance Week Open Week is here. Torrey Pines, one of the best courses on tour. We're going to try to go 3 for 3, 3 straight years predicting the winner of the Farmers Insurance Open. Fairway to Heaven starts in just over 1 minute. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on DSM Media. We're live. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, you know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow, no matter what platform you're watching on. Retweet on all the different Twitter accounts that are on. I got to reboot here tonight. I'm not ready to go here. Retweet it on all the different Twitter accounts that you could be watching it on right now, the DSM account, the Fairway to Heaven account, my personal Beard and Knowledge account. But if you want to get interactive with the show, as we break down this week's Farmers Insurance Open, head over to the DSM Media YouTube page, drop your comments there. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and turn the notifications on so you never miss a moment of when we are live here on DSM Media. I'm your host, Phil Stifel, as I am every week. We missed last week, and I had to get on the air this week. I kind of feel like talking at an event is just as much therapeutic as it is helpful for you, and therapeutic and helpful for me as it is helpful for you. So, we missed last week. This week we got the Farmers Insurance because the NFL is on Sunday with the championship games. This week the event's starting on Wednesday, so I didn't want to wait till Tuesday night to do it. Wanted to get it out of the way here on Monday evening. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to Farmers Insurance. We're going to talk about this field. We're going to talk about Torrey Pines, what it's going to take to win. And we're going to just keep talking about the fact that I've only been doing golf podcasting and trying to pick winners and build fantasy lineups on golf for 2 years now. I picked the Farmers Insurance 2 years in a row. I had Patrick Reed in 2021, and I had Luke List at 75, I think it was, to 1 last year. So we're going to try to go 3 for 3 on the Farmers Insurance. And I think I've got a pretty damn good understanding of what it takes to win this event and to contend in this event, what kind of golfers it's going to take. I do want to say for a second, though, pinned to the top of the Fairway to Heaven Twitter page, Fairway, the number 2 Heaven _. I've retweeted it out on Beard and Knowledge. I'm going to try to start running a contest, $5, single entry contest on Draftkings, where you could compete against me on a weekly basis. Payouts will determine how many people enter the contest. I got it set to 100 this week. I don't think we'll get 100, but if you'd like to do it, or if you don't see the link, send me a message on Twitter at Beard and Knowledge or on Facebook at the DSM Media Facebook page. I will send you the link, and you can compete with me in a smaller field event, have a little fun at it, maybe make some money. Hopefully I can prove that I know what I'm talking about a little bit here. And so I wanted to shout that out. I'm going to shout it out again later at the end of the show. But we are at Torrey Pines this week, the North and South course. We got a lot of information on it. Again, just like last week, you got the rotational course going, the rotation thing going. You got the North and the South course. Everyone will play the North course one time, either Wednesday or Thursday. And then they'll play the South course 3 times, Wednesday or Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday for the championship. Torrey Pines South course also had the 2021 U.S. Open. So we've got a lot of course data on the South course, which is going to be played 3 times. So when I've built my models, when I've picked my players, yes, the North course is important. You're going to play there one time. It will be the easier of the two courses that's played. And if you're going to win this event, you got to go out there and make birdies whatever day it is you choose to play that North course. But, you know, you're playing three times. If you're winning this event, you're playing three times in the South course. One of the longest courses on tour, measuring over 7,700 yards, par 72. You gotta be able to handle that, and it takes a certain type of golfer to win there. It's in San Diego, Torrey Pines, if you're not familiar with it, and obviously San Diego, the weather, it's on the coast. Weather always plays a factor. Wind, rain. They've had so much rain over the last month out there. Whether that'll play a factor or not, we'll see if the wind dries the course out and the sun dries the course out at all. But let's be honest. When you're playing a 7,700 yard course, 7,700 plus yard course, there's one key thing that you got to be able to do, and that's drive the golf ball, hit it long and far. And from my research, from my readings, from my prep this week, it is one of the Torrey Pines is one of the top 10 courses on tour where driving distance matters. It is up there in the top 10. Accuracy, not so much. Yeah, the rough's a little thicker. But with the rain, I think the rain and the elements of being on the coast there kind of make the rough not quite as difficult as it seems. So these guys, have to bomb this course to be able to win. It doesn't mean the longest hitters always win. Patrick Reed's not the longest hitter. Justin Rose has won here before. He is not the longest hitter as well. But you've got to be able to hit the golf ball, and you've got to be great with your long irons because at 7,700 plus yards, even if you put a 300-yard drive out there, there's going to be a lot of 200-yard second shots, 180, 200, 210, those kind of shots. We've got 500-yard par fours on this course, 600-yard par fives. You have to be able to hit your long irons. So, since I'm rolling solo here tonight, we're gonna do what we did last year. A lot of the times when I went solo, is we're just gonna put my model right up on the screen here. Compliments of FantasyNational.com. They've got the best model making tools there are out there. And as you can see, when I built my model here, as always, I always put a little touch of shots gained total, some weeks more than others, but at least a little touch of it. But driving distance, I put only, it seems like I'm taking a little bit out on driving distance by only putting 15% in there. But I've also done off the tee to get a full 30% of my model is weighted off the tee and driving distance combined. So because we want guys that are going to be able to hit the ball far, but also, as close to the fairway as possible. Obviously, I put a huge amount in approach. 25% of my model tonight and this week went into approach. Tee to green, 15%. I obviously put that proximity. I'm not big on proximities in my models normally, but on a course like this, it's going to be so crucial and so important. I did put it in there. The short game, these are some very small greens at Torrey Pines, below average size greens at Torrey Pines. So you're going to want guys, if you're not hitting your approach shot right on the green, you got to be able to have to work that short game really well. Bogey avoidance. This is not the birdie fest that we've been seeing lately. So you're going to definitely want guys that can, avoid the bogey, avoid the three putt. I thought about putting three putt avoidance in there. I try to keep my model to even less than this, but I put the bogey avoidance in there. As you can see, putting I have 0%, except for extreme major league putting competition like type tournaments where putting is so crucial. I keep putting off to the side there at 0%, so I know, but I don't want it weighted in my model. And oddly, because models, when you're doing models, let me take that off the screen for a second. When you're building a model, you got to understand that there's more to it than just the model. Like the model right now does not have Jon Rahm, who is the best damn golfer in the world at number one. He's ranked 9th in my model. But he's obviously the best and the hottest golfer on tour right now. So you kind of got to be able to use this information and kind of make good decisions based off of it. Obviously, number one in my model is Will Zalatoris, and we'll get to him in a minute. He finished second here last year behind Luke List. He lost in the playoff to Luke List last year. He's tailor-made for this course, number one in my model, and he is one of my favorites to win this week. I really, truly believe Will Zalatoris can win this week. But we're going to break this down tier by tier and really try to figure out what players to play. I'm also thinking about it. I'll build my lineups tomorrow after I see a little bit more information on ownership percentage and different things. I'm refreshing that right now, so we have up to the minute data here on ownership percentages. I'm going to try something different, and I'm the first person to really talk about how ownership percentage is overblown. And everybody always wants to pivot off of one guy because they're going to be 22% owned. And let's find the guy that's 10% owned below them just to be different, just to whatever. If you like a golfer, you play the golfer. And the last 2 weeks, I haven't had my best 2 weeks the last 2 weeks in golf. And I almost broke even last week on my DFS lineups. I had a really good couple showdown lineups, so helped me get to that break even point. But the last 2 weeks, I've noticed something. It's been kind of percolating in my head that 2 or 3 of the guys that are in the top 5 were on my initial list here, which is my starter list. It's my potential player pool. And then I trim it down and the industry theory, just like it is pivoting off a high ownership, the industry theory is you should only have so many names in your player pool. That you should only have, like, I do 21 lineups for the whole entire week. Well, you should only have 19, 20, 21 names in it. So the last couple of weeks got me thinking because I cut 2 or 3 names. I got 35 names written here that I like this week. Now, I'm not saying have 35 names in 20 entries, but maybe not trim it down so much. And what I'm thinking, and a theory I'm going to try this week with the farmers, because there are really a lot of names I like this week, but there's a few names I like a lot this week. So I'm thinking that I'm not going to limit my player pool to any number. I don't have to have 19, 20, 21 names in my player pool. So what I'm going to focus on new theory, and I'll be curious if anybody, agrees, disagrees with this theory. What I am going to do this week is I'm going to pick 4 or 5 names. Will Zalatoris, one of them. The names that I just absolutely love. I don't care about ownership percentage. I want them in my lineups. They are going to get heavy usage, these 5 names. They're going to be in 8, 10, 12 of my 20 lineups, 21 lineups. And then the rest of the names, if I want to have 25 other names and have a 30-person player pool, I'm going to do it. Because I'm going to try to get the goal to win a GPP. Because these 20 lineups I'm doing, they're in a GPP. The goal is to win a GPP. The goal is to finish in the top 5. And I sometimes feel like we try to trim names off. Kirk, the last couple weeks, I've trimmed him off the last second. He's had some great weeks. And I feel like I'm always trying to tweak a guy off here or there. As long as you get the winner, as long as you get John Rahm, you get 2 or 3 combo lineups of, like, this week, Will Zalatoris. Say, just for example, I'm going to have, 7 or 8 lineups with a combination of Will Zalatoris, Sung Jae Im, and Hideki Matsuyama. I'm going to have 2 or all 3 of those in 7, 8 lineups. And then why am I only choosing from 6 or 7 other names to balance out the rest of that lineup? If there's 10 guys, 12 guys in the 7K range, because I love the 7K range this week, I think there's a lot of value and a lot of really good playable names in there. Instead of trying to use a guy like, I don't know, let's look at my list this week. Will Gordon, 7,400. Will Gordon's a newer, up-and-coming guy. Instead of having to put Will Gordon in 7 lineups, and if he misses the cut, because he's still new, he's still inexperienced, we'll get to his details in a little bit. I'm just going on theory right now. Instead of putting Will Gordon in 7 lineups, I'm going to put him in 3. Then put Brendan Steele in 3. And then put Bramlett in 2. Great driver of the golf ball. Martin Laird in 2. Gary Woodland, who's got great, tough course, success on his resume. Put him in 2. Kevin Streelman, at 6,800, put him in 2 lineups. Instead of picking 5 guys in in a stretch there and loading up on them, and when 2 or 3 of them miss the cut, your whole entire board for the weekend's screwed. Kind of stretch it out a little bit more. Someone like Kevin Streelman, who not only, fits this course, fits this tournament, also had a great, great finish here in 2021 at the U.S. Open. So he loves Torrey Pines. So, getting him, but also Kevin Streelman is not a guy you want to put in there 8, 9 times. Bill Haas, I've been joking with myself all week. 6,100, Bill Haas. Terrible golfer. Not in form anymore whatsoever. But he's made the cut here 11 of the last 12 years. So he obviously knows how to play Torrey Pines. But am I going to expose myself to, if I put Bill Haas in my player pool and have 20 names, that means I'm going to have to click on Bill Haas's name 4 or 5 times. Then when he misses a cut, that's 4 or 5 lineups that are not 6 for 6. So I'm thinking of differentiating myself a little bit by having a bigger player pool. It might not make you want, if you're in 20 lineups in a GPP, you want 12, 13 of those lineups to cash, or do you want the best opportunity to have that win of the GPP? So we're going to test this theory out this week. Tomorrow afternoon on my Twitter page, on Instagram, TikTok, all those places, I will put my player pool and all my usage, and you'll see, how I came about this. But I really think it's a smart way to go to kind of be different. Instead of, shying away from a guy you like, Will Zalatoris is going to be one of the highest owned guys this week. Well, I'm not pivoting off of him. And that's worked for me now. Even though everybody else pivots off the high ownership guys. Well, now instead of being like everybody else and trying to keep a very tight player pool, I'm going to try something different, and I am going to go bigger, bolder. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be 500. I'm not going to play a little bit of every single person in this tournament. There's 156 guys in here. Like I said, I got 35-ish names written down here. All right. I might use 30, 31 of these names. There's just going to be a lot of 2 clicks. Everybody knows my weird fascination with Sean O'Hare. He actually has good course history and good course fit for a guy at 6,400. He's going to get 1 click this week. But I'm not going to overexpose myself to 5 clicks on him. So it's something we're going to look into this week. It's something we're going to dabble with over the next couple weeks. I mean, we got Torrey Pines this week. We got Pebble Beach. We got the Phoenix Open. We got Riviera. We got some courses coming up. I don't know if this is the time to be messing with theory and strategy, but why not? If it differentiates myself, if it gets me to the point where I can win a GPP, that's what we're here for. That's what we do this for. All right, so let's go through this bracket here. So we're starting off in the 10K range and above, because obviously John Rahm's at 11-6 after another win last week. And guys, John Rahm is in another world right now. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about John Rahm at this point that hasn't been said. I said it in the season kickoff show. I fully expect John Rahm to win multiple times this year. I fully expect John Rahm to win 4 times this year, 5 times this year. And he's doing that. And I just don't know how you play him, though, on a weekly basis. That's the problem. How many times can he win in a row? The last 2 times he's teed off, he's won. He absolutely loves this golf course. His last 5 years here, well, his last 6 years, we'll go back to 17. 3rd, 7th, 2nd, 5th, 29th, 1st. And when he won in 17, can you imagine there was a point in time where John Rahm was 55-1 to win a golf tournament and he won it? You're never going to see anything close to that anymore. I mean, he's 3.5-1 to win this event. I mean, his odds are insane. His ownership projections over 20%, of course. And he's 11-6. But is there a scenario where you build 21 lineups and you don't put John Rahm in a few? I mean, 11-6. I mean, you could tell me John Rahm was 12, 12-1, 12-2. Hell, you could put him 12-6, 12-7. And I would still say it's fair value. Because that's how damn good of a golfer he is. He loves this course. He obviously, has played here plenty of times, knows every ins and out. And you're going to see, we always talk about course history and tournament history. But Torrey Pines and the Farmers Insurance, it's got one of these track records where, you see a lot of guys have a 3rd, a missed cut, a 15th, a missed cut. So because of the type of course it is, the bombing and gouging type course it is, consistent success is very hard to have here. So if a guy has a missed cut on his resume at this event, it doesn't mean to shy away from him. It really doesn't. It just means you have to, take all those little factors into account. And obviously, John Rahm won the U.S. Open here. So literally everything says play John Rahm. Everything says bet. You're not going to bet John Rahm 3.5-1. If anything, you're going to put that bet off to the side, save, a unit or two, depending on how Wednesday or Thursday goes, whatever day he's on the North course or whatever day he's on the South course. Maybe his odds come back down to earth. Maybe he falls 4 or 5 strokes behind. Maybe it didn't really help last week because after the first or second round, he was 5 back, and I looked, he was still the favorite to win the event. Maybe something changes over the course of the weekend, and his odds get to 10 or 12-1. If they do, pounce all over it with a couple units, because he'll never be out of the event. He'll never be, he's not going to be under 10-1 the rest of this year. Maybe on some of the majors, but most likely he's going to be 10-1 or less. So 3.5-1, you just can't do it right now. So you got to hope something happens on Wednesday that changes the odds a little bit. Maybe backs him up the board a little bit, and then you pounce on it. But right now, you got to stay away from Jon Rahm, the better. On the flip side of the equation, even at 11-6, even at 20% ownership, you kind of have to sprinkle Jon Rahm in a little bit. You really do. The rest of this top four here, you've got Colin Morikawa, you got Xander Schauffele at 10-3, Colin Morikawa 10 even, and Tony Finau 10-5. Tony Finau's another guy, has extremely great course history here, even though he missed a cut last year. But he's got a 2nd, a 6th, a 13th, and a 6th the 3 previous years. He's also just one of those golfers that's just such a great ball striker, so great with his irons. So he's not top 20 in driving distance over his last 36. He's just so good. And he's a winner now. He's not the guy that he used to be that doesn't win. He is a winner now. So this is an event he could win for sure. He will definitely be in my player pool. Xander. Now, I know there's the questions about Xander's back. And I know everyone's going to say that Xander looked really good last week. But this is a different course. This is a different type of course. And Xander's had decent success here. He's had a couple missed cuts. He's got a 2nd place, whatever. So he's got the course history that works. But Xander's back, looking good last week in a birdie fest, where there was no pressure, no stress, you didn't have to try to put a little extra oomph in a shot to get an extra 5 yards or whatever. It's a little different than playing Torrey Pines. And I personally am not ready to commit to Xander. Also, high ownership at this point as well, because everyone's going to jump on him because of how he played last week. Everyone's going to say he's fine. I would rather, if I had to do anything, drop down to Colin Morikawa, who, again, another guy that, his ownership's going to be the lowest of the top 4 guys. Played here once a couple years ago, did decently. Colin Morikawa, though, for as bad as he was last year, was not that bad. He just wasn't his own standards. He finished 2nd at the Tournament Champions. We haven't seen a hell of a lot of them, but we're starting to see the trend in the right direction for Colin Morikawa. So if you're going to play in that 10K range, I would take Colin over Xander, but Finau to me is the play in the 10K range if you're going to load up. I'm going to sprinkle Finau. I'm going to sprinkle Rahm, but I'm going to stay. I was debating today when I was really figuring this all out. I was debating not playing a single guy in the 10K or above range because I'm just in love with the 9K range, and there's so many golfers. Actually, I've got, as you can see, every 9K golfer starred as a potential player in this field. I start every single one of them because that's how much I love that 9K range. And I'm going to have to pick 2 or 3 of these guys to really load up on. But there's a chance that all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 6 guys may end up in my player pool at some level. So you could definitely make a case if you want to be different. You don't have to be different because of ownership percentage. You don't have to be different in, who you pick and pivoting off of one guy to the next. Maybe be different and differentiate yourself by not playing any of the top 4 guys. I'm looking at my betting pool. Yeah, no, I didn't bet any of those top 4 guys to win outright. So maybe that's how you differentiate yourself this week to give yourself an opportunity to win a GPP. You just stay away from that 10K range altogether. And again, like I said at the beginning of the show, we skipped the show last week, and I wanted to jump on and do the show tonight because, as much as it's giving you guys the information, seeing the information here on the board that you don't normally get to see, it's also helped me talk myself through it. And I may have almost just talked myself back into the theory of not playing Finau, not playing Rahm, not playing anybody in that 10K or above range. There's a really strong chance of that. And it starts with because I love Will Zalatoris this week. Obviously, he finished 2nd here last year, lost in the playoff to Luke List, which I still can't believe I hit Luke List. Finished 36th at the Amex, 11th at the Tournament of Champions, won the FedEx, obviously, and then withdrew with the back. I know the back is an issue and a concern to people, but it looks like he's back to full health at this point. Tee to green, off the tee, approach, putting. He's gaining strokes everywhere so far since he's been back from his back surgery. Love Will Zalatoris here. I love his course fit. I love pretty much everything about Will Zalatoris this week. He drives the ball a ton. He's not the most accurate, but again, accuracy doesn't matter. He hits a ton of greens in regulation, over 70, almost 71% of greens in regulation he hits. Will Zalatoris is a monster play this week, in my opinion. He might be he's already my biggest bet. I bet 2 full units on him to win outright at 16-1. My guess is he gets the most clicks for me this week. Also, but you see, you go from 10 to 97 all the way down to 94. And you've got 9, 91, 92, 93, 94. You got all these golfers bunched up here. You got Justin Thomas, who we haven't really seen much this year. He obviously played at Century, did not play much, but really only played from the Tour Championship, where he finished 5th back in August. He played the CJ Cup, and then he played the Century Tournament Champions. Haven't seen much Justin Thomas. And Justin Thomas in his last 4 events, we haven't seen him, and he's been struggling on approach, something that Justin Thomas never does. I mean, you go from when he won the PGA Championship, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15 straight events that he gained strokes on approach. And then since he won the PGA, he's kind of been all over the place. Well, Torrey Pines is a place that, Justin Thomas could fix that. He played here last year, finished 20th, but let me see where he finished in the U.S. Open in 2021 here. What's going on here with my computer? There. Tell me he didn't play the U.S. Open? Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. That's why. I'm not looking at the right screen here. I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Let's see how Justin Thomas. I was on tournament history. Typing in U.S. Open here. Amateur hour here by me. All right. So, yeah, he finished 19th here the year it played at Torrey Pines. And he lost almost 2 strikes on approach that year. And he was still able to finish 19th place. So, Justin Thomas, great driver of the golf ball, great approach player normally. It's about time he gets his game in gear. He's going to be a lot less projected. I mean, Will Zalatoris right now is the highest projected owned guy. Justin Thomas is right now on Fantasy National at 14.4%. That'll go up a little bit, but Justin Thomas at 14.4%, damn, that's insane. You're never going to get that from a guy that's won majors before, that's as good as him. You're not going to get Justin Thomas at 9,400 very often. So Justin Thomas at 9,400 is a really good play. Sung J M is a guy that I always love. I don't always play him, but I love the guy. The guy's a great, consistent golfer. As long as you hit it over 300, you're safe to go. He does that. Hits 65% of the fairways. It helps. Doesn't mean as much, but it helps. Finished 18th at the Amex last week, losing strokes on approach. So his approach game's been a little off lately, but he's had a really good last couple years. He's played well here before. He finished. He made the cut at least at the U.S. Open when he played here at Torrey Pines. Sung J M, love him. You can never bet against Sung J M. He'll be a sprinkler. Taylor Montgomery. Now, there's a guy. He's played a lot of golf. He's already played the last couple of weeks. But just going back, counting his Corn Ferry Tour, he's made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 of his last 9 events have been top 15 finishes. And the other one was a 57th at the Houston Open in November. Still made the cut there. Missed the cut at the U.S. Open last year. Before that, 1, 2, 3, top 10s. Missed a cut, 1, 2, 3, 4, top 15s. Missed a cut, 1, 2, top 15s. This guy is just a machine. A machine. He made the cut here at Torrey Pines. This guy is a machine. He is a top 15 machine. And I'm trying to close out. I got too many boxes open now. He's a machine. Hits the ball far. Hits a ton of greens in regulation. Where's his ownership percent right now? Under 15% right now. It'll change. Taylor Montgomery, again, another play that you just can't go away from. Taylor Montgomery is just a guy that is just going to be in contention every single week. It's almost like I was thinking to myself today, it's just a damn shame Taylor Montgomery's playing at the same time that John Rahm's back on fire, because it's just going to eliminate so many people from winning week in, week out. Max Homa, love him this week as well. Max Homa, let's see if he's missed a cut here last year, but 18th and 9th the 2 previous years. Max Homa at 9,100, I think is a crazy low number at 9,100. When he was 20, he was in the top 5 or 6 on odds. He fell to 20, then 22-1. I bet him to win this event. But again, at 9,100, another West Coast guy. His ownership is through the roof right now. So he's a sprinkle. He's not a home run play. I think Hideki Matsuyama is another guy. I mean, Hideki's just Mr. Consistent. Hits it over 300 yards, hits his greens, hits the fairways. This guy Hasn't missed a cut since the Genesis Scottish Open. His previous missed cut on tour before that was the Wyndham. So since the Wyndham in August of 2021, he's missed one cut on tour. So how do you not get behind Hideki? I think Hideki kind of gets disrespected to an extent. Finished 26th here at the U.S. Open, back when the U.S. Open was held here in 2021. How Hideki keeps getting these low 9K numbers. Hell, I got him at 35-1 to win this event. I know his driving distance isn't the best on tour, but how does Hideki keep getting that kind of disrespect? It baffles me. It really does. Hideki. So like I said, you got to play this entire 9K range. And this is where my new theory of playing a bigger player pool, but just picking 3 or 4 major names and then just sprinkling all these other names and having more combinations of lineups. I tend to find myself having 3 of the same 7K guys in a whole bunch of lineups. The same 6K, 2 7K, and 1 8K guy in every single lineup, and then rotating other things. No, let's just sprinkle with the main names. But in this 9K range, again, Zalatoris, Taylor Montgomery, Hideki. If I'm going to build a 5-person pool that I'm going to anchor all my lineups around, those 3 names, Zalatoris, Montgomery, and Hideki Matsuyama, are going to be in a majority of those lineups. Now, the rest of my anchor, my core, is going to come in the 8K. Now, I don't love the 8K range. There's a whole bunch of names here. But there's a couple names I like a lot. Now, obviously, Jason Day, another one of those guys that his ownership's going to be high. He's playing himself back into form. Jason Day used to be an amazing golfer. Had a little rough stretch, hence missing the cut here in 2021. But around 2021's missed cut, 3rd, 16th, 5th, 1st in his last 5 years here. Jason Day loves this course. Let me look up Jason Day, that U.S. Open year. Here, let's click on that. Let's see how Jason Day did here in the U.S. Open in 2021. Made the cut here. Of course he did. Why? Well, he didn't play here in 2021. Never mind. He finished 21st in a U.S. Open. That wasn't the year. All right, so he didn't play here in 2021. That he was banged up in 2021. So he's rounded into great form. He loves this course, but he's going to be super high owned. So he's a guy you sprinkle in. But you can't not have 1 or 2 lineups with Jason Day in it, because Jason Day has a really good chance. That win equity you talk about, he has a really good chance to win this event. I like these next 2 names in this 8K range. Maverick McNeely and JJ Spawn. And here's a perfect example why a model can't be the end-all, be-all. Look, Maverick McNeely's 76th in my model. Terrible approach play over his last 36 rounds. Terrible tee to green over his last 36 rounds. But when you click on him more detailed, finished 7th last week at the Sony Open. And he finished 7th 2 weeks ago at the Sony Open, dropping a stroke and a half off the tee. And he still was able to do it. He did it because of his putting. And putting won't matter, but it will matter. When you're as good of a putter as Maverick McNeely is, he hasn't lost strokes since June of last year. I mean, he's had double-digit strokes gained putting the ball. He's 7th, a 27th, a 10th, an 18th, a 12th, a 10th. They're his last 6 golf events that he's played in on tour. A missed cut, then a bunch of 30s, a missed cut. Yeah, 8th at John Deere. I mean, Maverick McNeely is a way better golfer than he's given credit for. And he's got good course history here. He's made 3 of the 4 cuts he's played here, 15th place in 2020. So again, Maverick McNeely is a great play here. But the model says he's not. So that's why you take it, into account. He's a low sub 15% ownership. And then you go to the next name on the list, JJ Spawn. Another guy that people are going to overlook. He's at 11% projection ownership right now. He doesn't make a lot of bogeys. He's got a really strong short game, really strong shots gained total. Let me pull him up detail here. JJ Spawn's another guy that gets overlooked a lot in golf. He doesn't hit the ball a ton, just under 300 yards. Hits a ton of greens. Hits a ton of fairways. 12th at the Sony Open, 5th at the Tournament of Champions, 15th, 15th, 58th at the CJ Cup. Super deep field at the CJ Cup. Zozo, 25th, Shriners, 15th, 59th, 23rd. I mean, this guy racked up. He hasn't missed a cut since the Wyndham back in August. And before that, he had an 8th place at the Rocket Mortgage. So this guy's made every cut but one since July. Totally different golfer than he used to be. And he's got a win under his belt. So he knows how to win a golf tournament. Obviously, he finished here 34th last year. So knows the course, playing way better golf than he's given credit for, which means he doesn't get the He doesn't have the name value, JJ Spawn. There is no name value there. So he gets overlooked for somebody like Cam Davis, who doesn't get overlooked, and everybody plays Cam Davis every single week. And then you have weeks like last week with the American Express where he just totally bombed and misses the cut. But if you look at Cam Davis, he misses cuts fairly consistently. He doesn't have as much win equity as people think. But yet Cam Davis is projected to be 13%, JJ Spawn 11. Big difference there. And I think if he didn't miss the cut, that number 12 would be a lot higher. All right, so the rest of this range down here, Keegan Bradley, I just don't buy here. Adam Hadwin doesn't hit the ball far enough, I don't think. What's Adam Hadwin's? You never know. Maybe that's one of those things where you think he's actually high. Hits the ball a little further than I thought, but 298. But yeah, I'm not on Adam Hadwin. Justin Rose, again, another guy that doesn't hit the golf ball. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Rose wins a golf tournament like this because he's just such a smart golfer. But I still don't buy it. Hayden Buckley's a guy I like this week. Let's pull Hayden Buckley up here for a second. Second at the Sony a couple weeks ago, obviously. That helped skew some of his numbers. But he hasn't missed a cut since the fortnight back in September. And his previous missed cut before that was the RBC Canadian way back in June. And that's a super deep, tough course, tough field, tough event to win. This guy was missing a lot of cuts last year. And then something clicked when he went on the U.S. Open, finished 14th at the U.S. Open, and he's playing great golf. Hayden Buckley is a guy that no one's talking about. Hits the golf ball far, hits his greens and regulations, drives the ball far. Some of that matters. Some of that doesn't matter this week. But where's his Hayden Buckley 8% own projection? Hayden Buckley's a great play this week. He really is. And let's see here. Missed the cut the only time he played here. But we're going to ignore that because why not? That just changes the narrative a little bit there. But again, yes, Hayden Buckley, love him. So to recap that 8K range, you sprinkle Jason Day, you play a ton of McNeely and Spawn, and you sprinkle in Buckley. So really, there's only 4 names I'm playing in this range. I'm going to sprinkle Day and Buckley. Buckley might be above the sprinkle, but below the slam dunk play. But you're going to get McNeely and Spawn mixed in there with the Zalatoris, Montgomery, Decky. That's my 5 core right there. Will Zalatoris, Taylor Montgomery, Hideki Matsuyama, Maverick McNeely, and JJ Spawn. That's my 5 core. And then the rest of my pool is going to be built around that. The last name in this list is Luke List. And this is an insane number. I know he won here last year, 75-1. But oh my God, Luke List is just such a. First off, let's see what his ownership percentage is. He's almost 10% projections. He won here last year. I know. He's got a 10th the year before that. A couple years before that, he finished 12th. So he plays this course so well. But at 8K, this guy miscut 11th, miscut 57th, 58th, miscut 61, miscut 19th, miscut. This guy has been so bad for a guy that at one point last year, the fall swing 11th to 10th, then he went to the Amex, finished 22nd, and won the Farmers. He was in a red hot stretch there, but since then has completely fallen apart. This year, he's not red hot going into this event. He's playing terrible golf, losing strokes on approach, putting the ball. God, he hasn't gained strokes putting since the Memorial back in June. He has lost strokes putting, and he's got a minus 7.8, a minus 8.6, minus 5.1, minus 5.6, minus 5.2. I mean, he's not just missing putts. He is putting terribly. So Luke List at 8K, oh my God, run and high from that man. All right, the 7K range is super, super big, super deep. There's so many names in here. We're not going to touch on every single one of them. Wyndham Clark's a name I like this week. I can't believe he's 65-1 to win. At least he was one this morning. I mean, gone are the days of Wyndham Clark 130-1. Gone are the days of Wyndham Clark 200-1 to win an event. He's a much different golfer now. I like Wyndham Clark. He will be in my player pool. He hits the golf ball a ton. And even though he's not that accurate this week, that doesn't matter. But, 50 at the American Express, but in the fall swing, he was playing great in the fall swing. So we like Wyndham Clark a lot this week. He's a different golfer. He's a more mature golfer. Taylor Pendrith, guy I love. He's 8th in this group. Last 36 rounds driving distance. 2nd off the tee. So this guy is going to be great off the tee and driving the golf ball this week. Great tee to green as a whole. It's just as long as he hits the greens. If he hits the greens, he's going to have a great weekend because his short game is around the green game is not perfect. But Taylor Pendrith is a good play this week. He'll make my player pool as well. He missed the cut the Amex last week, but overall, 8th at the BMW, 15th at the RSM, 2nd at the Rocket Mortgage. This guy's played good enough golf to make the player pool for sure, in my opinion. Davis Thompson, huge week last week. His numbers are skewed because of that. I'm not sure if I'm ready to buy into it, and whether he's going to be the real deal long term or not. I'm just not sure about that yet. So I'm probably going to fade him just because I know his ownership right now is at 6%, but I think that jumps. Last week he was at like 2%. He's already jumped up to 6%. His price was from the 6Ks all the way up to the upper 7Ks. I think there's better choices in this 7K range than him. Alex Smalley being one of them. Love Alex Smalley. Love his game in general. It's a lot of greens. Does a lot of things well. 22nd last week. But in the fall swing, he went 5th, 4th, 11th. So he's a definite really good play here. He played here once before, so that's helpful. Not necessarily a big deal. But Alex Smalley's a name I like this week. Let's continue going down this list here. Kirk Kitayama, great driver of the golf ball, great tee to green player. He's a guy, I'm not saying he's going to win this event, but he's a guy that for sure can make a charge to the top 20. So he's a sprinkler for sure, because just as much as he can make a top 20 charge, he could easily miss the cut. So you don't want to get out of control. And he was terrible here last year. Thomas Dietrich, just like Taylor Montgomery, just like JJ Spawn, so much disrespect. I mean, the fact that this guy is 7,600 in this field. Yeah, there's some big names in Tony Finau and Xander Schauffele and John Rahm at the top, but it really drops off. Thomas Dietrich being 7,600, first off, foremost, hits the golf ball a ton, 320 yards average driving distance. Hits a ton of greens, over 72% of greens hit. This guy hasn't missed a cut on the PGA Tour. His last missed cuts were on the Korn Ferry Tour. Missed a cut here at the U.S. Open back in 2021. But that's it. That was the only time he played here, actually. He didn't play here last year. But anyway, his listen to this. Last week, 26th at the Amex. 15th, 2nd, 69th, 9th, 12th, 34th, 10th. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his last 7 events have been top 15 events. And you're telling me 5 of 7 top 15s, and he can't crack the 8K? What are they doing with this? Now, let me see here. Ownership. He's under 14% right now. Give me Thomas Dietrich at 7,600, even if he's at 17 or 18%. He's that good. He's so mispriced. You can get so much. You can get a Zalatoris and a JT and a Decky lineup, and then go right to Thomas Dietrich to try to start the balance of the lineup out. You could, and I'd have no problem doing it. Continuing down this list, Trey Mullinax is starred. I don't know if I like Trey Mullinax or not. Let's think about it. Do I like? He's a maybe. He's top 6. He's 6 in driving distance. So obviously that's great. Let's see. He's 28th at the Century Tournament Champion, 4th at the Houston Open. Continuing back. Let's see. Last year at the Farmers, missed the cut here last year. Didn't play the U.S. Open here last year. It was all Korn Ferry. Before that, 78th back here in 2020. Yeah, I don't love Trey Mullinax. He just hits the golf ball a ton, and that's great here. He does. But I'd rather go with Will Gordon. Will Gordon's a name, probably a little mispriced as well. Will Gordon's been playing really good golf as a whole, lately. Missed the cut last week, but before that, 28th, 15th, the 3rd, 35th. This guy's been playing. Last week's missed cut was his first missed cut since July on the Korn Ferry Tour. So technically, that was his first missed cut on the PGA Tour since 2021, the last time he was playing regularly on the PGA Tour. Will Gordon's a really good golfer. Hits the golf ball a ton. Hits a ton of greens in regulation. You notice a lot of the guys that hit the ball a ton hit a lot of greens because they're so much closer. So that's why that plays so much into a factor here this week. So Will Gordon's a great play this week. Did I bet Will Gordon? No, I did not. I thought about it. There's another name on my list. Gary Woodland's a guy that I'd like to talk about for a second. Gary Woodland missed the cut to Sony. but a ninth at the Houston Open on the fall swing. This guy's a big game player. Loves tough courses. He really does. And this is a tough course. Finished 39th here last year. Made the cut at the U.S. Open when it was played here. 48th the year before that here at this event. I'm just going back. Missed a cut in 2020. I thought he had some better course history than this. There's his full course. Yeah, 9th and a 12th and 19 and 18. So this is a guy that's played well here before. He loves tough courses. Will I put him in there? Yeah. This is all part of my new theory here of sprinkling. And I think Gary Woodland's a perfect opportunity type play to make sure you put one or two lineups with Gary Woodland. He's going to be low owned. Let's see ownership percentage. Not as low as I thought, 8%, but still low enough that it could be the thing that differentiates you. Continuing down, Ben Griffin's a name I love. This is a mispriced guy right here. Mispriced guy for sure. 32nd and 12th so far this year, this calendar year. Had a really good fall swing. Hasn't missed a cut since the Fortnite Championship back in September. And before that, he had a fourth place. So he's had one missed cut in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 out of the last 10 cuts made. He's got a fourth, a third, a 16th, and a 12th in that stretch as well. Guy's playing great golf. Little rough around the greens, but hits the golf ball fine. Hits plenty of greens and regulations. Ben Griffin's a guy that's trending in the right direction. Will he win this event? Probably not. But it's worth sprinkling a half a unit on him. I got him at 180 to 1. A half a unit at 180 to 1. Dude, I'll take that all day long for Ben Griffin. Grillo, another name. Maybe you sprinkle him in. Brendan Steele, always, seems to pop in models. He's missed his last two cuts here at this event. I don't know if I love him. I don't know if I hate him. But he's a name you could play. Aaron Rye's a guy. I started him. He was one of the first names I started. Why? Let's go on this. Doesn't hit the golf ball a ton. Doesn't hit a ton of greens in regulation. Why'd I start him? Does he have great course history? I'm trying to figure out why I started him. Yeah, he finished here 6th last year. Maybe that's the only reason why I started him. All right, get Rye off my list. Rye is not getting played this week. Robbie Shelton. There's a lot of names. Grillo, Griffin, or not Grillo, Griffin, Gordon, and Robbie Shelton. These guys are names that are kind of popping up. 6th last year at the American Express, or last week at the American Express. Missed the cut at the Sony Open, but at a 10th at the RSM in the fall swing, 15th at the Shriners in the fall swing, won back in July or August on the Corn Ferry Tour. That's how he's got so much, PGA access early this year. He won twice on the Corn Ferry Tour last year. So this is a guy he's got some winning potential. He's on the upswing. This is a guy who finished 16th here 2 years ago. That's really good. What did he do in 2022 here? He did not play here in 2022. He was stuck on the Corn Ferry Tour. Robbie Shelton's a guy I like. He's definitely going to be a sprinkler. Martin Laird, another guy. He's going to get some sprinkles. Ben Taylor, another one of those names. Ben Taylor right there with Griffin, Gordon, and some of these other names that are up-and-comers to an extent. Guys that, we don't really hear a lot about but have been playing good. He missed the cut last week. How? I have no idea, because he gained strokes everywhere except for total last week. Gained 1.5 strokes tee to green, gained a half a stroke off the tee, half a stroke approach, half a stroke around the green, and just barely broke even on putting, 0.01 strokes gained. But he finished the week before 4th at the Sony Open, 3rd at the Houston Open, 21st at the RSM. This guy has been playing great golf now since, well, if you take out his Shriners missed cut, he's been playing great golf since mid-July. Corn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 10s. Ben Taylor's a good golfer, and at 7,100, he definitely gets a play. Bramlett's on here because he hits the golf ball a ton. I don't know if there's a lot of value in him, but Callum Tarrant, another guy that pops in a lot of models, and I don't know why. Finished 2nd at the RSM, but he missed the cut last week. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 missed cuts in his last 1, 2, 3. 6 in his last 9 events, he's missed cuts. So I'm not sure if I'm high on Taram like other people are. People seem to be hyping him up week in and week out, and I just don't get it. He missed the cut here last year. Let's see. Where's his ownership this week going to fall in at? Why don't I see it? There it is. Oh, he's almost 10% owned. Yeah, there's no way you play Callum Tarrant. I'm telling you, if you guys play Callum Tarrant in the league I set up, I'm just going to laugh at you because People are overhyping him for all the wrong reasons. I just don't get it. All right, let's get down to the 6K. There's actually a lot of names that I think you can sprinkle in and get some value with in the 6K range. Nobody in the 6,900 range, but I want to get to the 6,800 range because there's a couple names at 6,800 that I think there's some play in. First of all, Kevin Streelman made the cut here 4 of the last 5 times he played here. Plus, he finished 15th at the U.S. Open here. Is Kevin Streelman going to win an event? No way at all. But at 1% ownership, the guy knows this course fantastically. He's a great tee to green player, great off the tee, pulling up his overall thing. He's going to go under the radar. Missed the cut to Sony Open. He's missed 3 of his last 4 cuts. But when a golfer's as good as him, I mean, let's see. He's won multiple times on tour. He had second place finish last year. Let's see. I'm just trying to see. The guy knows what he's doing around the golf course. And he knows his way around here. Kevin Streelman at 1% at 6,800 with a John Rahm and you put John Rahm, Will Zalatoris, and then go right to Kevin Streelman. All of a sudden, you've got a very different lineup. And I'm not putting him in 5 because this new theory I'm trying out might get 2. Might get 2 clicks on Kevin Streelman. It's just going to make different lineups, different combinations. Doc Redman, a guy that is terrible lately, but has made a couple cuts here. So Doc Redman got a star. I don't know if I'll play Doc Redman. I highly doubt it. Doc Redman's been god-awful. He's finished 32nd at Sony Open, which isn't awful, but he missed so many cuts last year. He was playing really good golf for a little stretch of 2021, and he just kind of fell apart. I just put him on there because he's got some decent results here. Austin Smotherman, a guy that always pops in weaker fields. I don't know if I like Smotherman that much this week, but he got starred just as a talking point. People like him. There was a stretch last year where he was playing really good as well. Let's see. Continuing down here, John Hu, some history here. Kevin Tway, I think, has got some course history here. Let me pull up Kevin Tway here. Where is he? Yeah, his last 5 years, he's made the cut here at 6,600. He's not playing good golf at all, as you can see where he finishes in my model. But if you put Kevin Tway in one lineup, he's made the cut the last 2 weeks. So he's kind of in decent form. He's made the cut 3 of his last 4 events. But then, like I said, at the Farmers, he's only missed the cut once. He's played here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Only missed the cut once here. So he knows this place. Let's see if he played the U.S. Open. I doubt it. Did not play the U.S. Open here that year. He's been too bad for too long to play the U.S. Open here in 2021. But Kevin Tway is just a name. You drop one lineup with Kevin Tway at that price at 6,600, you could put so many good players around him. It's worth the risk. Obviously, there's always the Sean O'Hare love. He'll get one lineup click for sure, maybe 2. You never know with me. He hasn't played yet this year on tour. Let's see his Farmers Insurance. He's missed the cut 2 of the last 3 years, but he made it 3 other times. Oh no, there's other things. So he's made the cut the 3 times last 3 times he's played here. Did he play in the U.S. Open? I doubt it. Ever played in the U.S. Open? He's played in a few, but not since 2017, so he wasn't here for that. Sean O'Hare always gets 1 or 2 clicks from me. Always. Peter Malnati down here at 6,300. Let's see here. He's missed 4 straight cuts, so not in great form at all. So why did I click on him? It must be the fact that he finished 25th here last year and 10th the year before that. So great course history for Peter Malnati. So that's that. Let me see. He missed the cut here at the U.S. Open. He did play in the U.S. Open here though, so he's got some rounds under his belt here. That's probably a no though for Malnati. Bill Haas is the one that really jumped at me. If we're going to talk course history and knowing this course, this guy's missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cuts in a row. 9 of his last 10. 10 of his last 13 cuts he's missed. This guy is in as bad a form as there's humanly possible. But he has played this event now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times. He's played this event. He's missed the cut 1 time. He's got 3 top 10s. He's got 4 top 20s. He loves the Farmers Insurance for some reason. He loves Torrey Pines. He did not play the U.S. Open here that year. He had a 5th place finish Bill Haas in the U.S. Open back in 2017. Wow, that was a long time ago. Bill Haas at 6,100 will get 2 clicks. I guarantee it from me. Guarantee it. The guy he's not a good golfer, but he hits the ball a ton, and that's kind of important here. Still at his age, he's going to be sub 1% owned probably. Sub 1% owned. He is going to get into 2 of my lineups. There's no doubt about it. So, like I said, I've got all these names. So, Streelman, let's see. So, Streelman, Tway, O'Hare, Malnati, Haas, they're all going to get sprinkled with a little bit of love because they're all only going to get 1 or 2 clicks. And that way I'm not overexposing myself. None of them will be in the same lineup together. So I'm not risking, if you put Haas and O'Hare in the same lineup, yeah, you're saving a lot of money, but both of them are probably going to miss the cut. Now you just turn your lineup into a 4 out of 6. Brandon Matthews, for some reason, because he was fifth in the field in driving. So I clicked on him just to talk about him for a second. And the guy is just so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight missed cuts. The guy is not very good. He's never played here before. Yeah, no. Brandon Matthews is a no. But he's 6K. You know, it's funny. When I did that and I clicked on it, he's actually got a 0.5% projection on it. He's going to be sub 1, but he's going to have more clicks than other people, realize because of that driving distance. But yeah, look, it's all about this new theory that I have. Changing the player pool strategy so that I have more creative, unique lineups and the ability that gives me to differentiate myself to win a GPP. Look, I cash enough every week. I hit enough bets, top 20s. Last week I hit a couple top 20s. I hit 6 outrights last year. I make enough money on the bets that if I put $20 into $21 lineups together, eventually at some point by major season, I'll start doing the $3 lineups. So that's $60. But $20 worth of lineups. Do I really care if I win $30 or $40 because I min cashed in 12 lineups? No. The goal is to win a GPP. First place in the $1 event is $1,500. I want that first place trophy. That's what I want. And I think the way you do that is by differentiating yourself and by having the most unique lineups, by maybe expanding on your player pool a little bit, gives you the best opportunity to do that. And that's why we're talking about that this week. There's going to be a lot of names in my player pool. It's a test. I'm not going to test it 1 week. It's going to get tested for 2 to 3 weeks. And like I said, there's some. You got this week at Torrey Pines. You got Pebble Beach. You got the Waste Management Phoenix Open in a couple weeks, and then you've got Riviera. So you got 4 tough tournaments. But I'm going to try to differentiate myself a little bit in the next couple weeks by doing it this way, and we'll see how it plays out. We'll be here every week. I'm going to try to reach out to some more creative guests to come on the show, and I'd be curious to see what they think of this strategy as well. And we'll be tracking it over the weeks to see how it plays out for me. But that's that. So bet-wise, I think I hit on most of them. I have 6 outrights right now. I have not made any top 20 bets yet. We're going to build a lineup in a second. We're going to do a test build here in a second. We're going to stop that share screen, and then we are going to do another share screen on DraftKings here. But I do have 6 outright bets this week. I'm trying to keep it capped at 6 outrights every single week. Obviously, Will Zalatoris, my 2-unit bet this week, 16-1. I did bet Max Homa 20-1. Taylor Montgomery 25-1. Sungjae Im 22-1. A lot of top end guys. Hideki Matsuyama 35-1, which I can't believe I got Hideki Matsuyama 35-1. I think again he's criminally underpriced, criminally underrated. And then, like I said, I got Griffin 180-1 on a half a unit. I think it's a worthy swing for the fences. I'm going to look at Thomas Dietrich to start off my top 20 bets, and I'll have some top 20 bets out there. But I like that as well. So let's try to build. I want to test this theory of mixing it up a little bit. And like I said, let's say I go Bill Haas, just for argument's sake, because I talked about him a bunch there. And then I go with Griffin at 7,300. Now I'm at 9,100. And you can put Thomas Dietrich in there, who I love. I don't know what tournament. This is in one of my 20 maxes. So Thomas Dietrich. Now I got 9,600. Now I could go Will Zalatoris. Then I could put Taylor Montgomery. Hell, I could get Colin Moore. I could get Justin Thomas in there. So I just was able to build a lineup like that and get 2 of my cores, 2 of my just below cores, and 2 cores in Zalatoris and Montgomery, Justin Thomas and Thomas Dietrich, just below core plays because I sprinkled it in. But then I could do this lineup, and let's clear this again. Let's start at the top. Let's put Zalatoris and Montgomery in it again. And then I do another lineup. We'll go Streelman. Then we'll go Gary Woodland. And then we'll go Dietrich. Well, no, we won't go Dietrich again. We'll try to keep it fresh. We'll say Gordon. At least we 9,500 again. Sung J.M. or Justin Thomas again. So I was able to get 3 of my main guys in there again by being different. You clear that out again. You do a John Rahm and Will Zalatoris lineup. And then you go down here. This will be my one Sean O'Hare lineup, just in case he makes a cut. Sean O'Hare. And then you go, I don't know. I'm trying to think of which one I want to go with here. At the bottom here, you put, I don't know. I'm really struggling trying to figure out which ones I want to put in here. But at 7,400, you go Dietrich again. And you go Steele. 7,400 again. Go Milnix. He's not on my list this week. Yeah, never mind. Ben Griffin again. You go. That's a little bit more tough. That's a little bit more difficult. By putting both those guys in there, maybe you take John Rahm out of there. So again, I don't know how much John Rahm I'm going to play, but you got 9,500 there, so you could put another lineup like that: Zalatoris, Justin Thomas, Sung J.M. with Dietrich, Steele, O'Hare. This is the thing this week. I'm telling you, there's a way you build a lineup without a single person in the 10K in your lineup. I really think that's a real strong possibility. Like you could do a lineup. I didn't do this. I didn't use them on a test lineup yet. You can go McNeely, Spawn, and start there. And Hideki. I love that start, actually. I love those 3 in a lineup together. McNeely, Spawn, and Hideki. And then you go down to the 7K range with Clark and Pendrith. That leaves me at 8,100. No, not Luke List. You put Hayden Buckley, who's a great play this week, and in that 8K range. Look at that lineup right there. McNeely, Spawn, Matsuyama, and Buckley all in a lineup together. And all I had to do was play Pendrith and Clark with them. It's a monster lineup. Man, this is going to be fun this week. Not having the constraints of having to keep it to a certain amount of people in my player pool. I really think this is something that I'm coming on to. I came on to this whole ignore the ownership percentage just to do it last year. And I think that really worked out for me a lot last year. We're going to do it again this year with this as my newest theory to kind of master this whole philosophy and try to win a GPP. Because, again, that's all that matters. You all want to win a GPP. That's all I want to do. I just want that trophy, one time, a trophy. Differentiate yourself. All right, so this is Fairway to Heaven right here on DSM Media. Stay tuned tomorrow. Focus on my Twitter page, @BeardofKnowledge, right here. That's where I'll put my whole player pool on there. All my top 20 bets along with my outright bets. You'll see them all on my Twitter page or on the DSM Media Facebook page, my Instagram page, TikTok, all Beard of Knowledge. That's where you'll get all my – once I'm finished with my full entire lineup and betting board, that's where you'll get all that information. Make sure you check it out. Like and subscribe to the DSM Media YouTube page if you're watching this on replay. I greatly appreciate it. If you have questions or thoughts, let me know. If you put them on the show on the YouTube page, I will go back and read them all, or hit me up on Twitter @Beard of Knowledge with your questions, or the Fairway to Heaven Twitter page as well. I will answer them there from as well. Again, like, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. with my regular morning show, Trending in the AM. It's NFC Championship week. I was on an NFL heater this weekend. I hit so many parlays and so many bets this weekend. We are flush in the bank account on DraftKings this week. So enjoy it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be back next week with another Fairway to Heaven. Everybody have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share this out to everybody. I greatly appreciate it. It'll really go along with the brand. Yo, make some money this week.